Hi, and welcome to a day in the life of an MSU Women's Resource Center intern. Here I am entering into the Union, and I'm going to take you on a little tour of where the Women's Resource Center is. As we enter, on the right there is the MSU Women's Resource Center bulletin board. I've done many different bulletin boards inside there, and they've all been really cool. We're getting onto the second floor here. And the Women's Resource Center is actually on the third floor. It's a lot of steps to walk up to, but I promise you it's a great place. You can see outside, we're right across from the MSU library and the good Beaumont Tower. And here we are headed up to the third floor of the MSU Union. Currently, as we enter, there is a potential freshman group going through a meeting. And as you go across the third floor, this is what it looks like. And right here is the Women's Resource Center. Going into work, woo! Women's Resource Center. Here is Vanetta, one of our office aides. And as we enter, there's Audrey. She's the office manager. And these are all the different offices. They didn't really want to be filmed or seen, but it's quite a small area. Oh, and here's Lydia.
Hi, Haley. How's it going? I'm Lydia Weiss, as you know, and I'm the Educational Program Coordinator here at the Women's Resource Center. I do lots of things, including hang out with Haley while she's here and help her do her projects. I also am the advisor for WILD, which is the Women's Initiative for Leadership Development, and we put on the Women's Leadership Conference every year. I'm also responsible for the Women's Networking Association, which is for faculty and staff, for networking, negotiating, those kinds of skills. And then I do a lot of the other programming with the help of the rest of our office and to serve the campus community. So that's my job in a nutshell. Bye.
Some of the objectives of being an intern at the Women's Resource Center were hands-on experience. I really wanted to be able to apply what I've been learning in my interdisciplinary studies classes. It was also understanding women's issues that are actually being tackled in the real world and have that outlet through the Women's Resource Center to create events to get students involved in what women's issues are. I also wanted to meet a lot of professionals who are interested in the same things I'm interested in and speak with them about how they got to where they are and get to know what goals they have. Some of the things I liked best at the office were all the different projects they were trying to tackle. They had an event called Take Back the Night in April. We just got over it. That was discussing sexual assault and relationship violence. They also had the Women's Day of Service, where women can get together and go out into the community and really help and grow the community. The thing that surprised me the most in working here was the outlet for older women, particularly their focus was faculty and staff. I didn't really think before that older women have issues with finances and body image and basically all the same issues that girls my age now deal with. Just figuring out how to handle life and stuff, that was crazy, and I just wasn't expecting that. There's a lot of challenges that every generation is facing with gender equality that needs to be changed. So I'm really thankful that I was able to learn that older women need help just as much as my generation and the generation after me. Working at the Women's Resource Center grew me a lot, both professionally and personally. Professionally, learned a lot about programming events and how to partner with other organizations. I had never done that before, and when I took on the project of Love Your Body Week, I knew I couldn't do an entire campus-wide week-long event by myself. I needed support. I needed outside organizations' help. And I was able to partner with Spartan Body Pride. Working with Spartan Body Pride, I was able to sit down, have professional meetings, and get to build relationships with those girls and be able to understand how to put an event despite us both coming in with different objectives and different desires, how to satisfy those desires of both groups was a really interesting and great learning experience that I definitely feel I could take on in the rest of my career. A lot of my examples from what I learned personally are a lot like my professional examples. I learned a lot about taking initiative. A lot of the projects and assignments I was given at the Women's Resource Center, I actually came up with the idea and went up to Lydia, my boss, and said, hey, would it be cool if I did this? And she was always supportive and said yes, and I was able to run with it. And that was definitely an encouraging thing. I definitely wanted to come up with more ideas and keep pushing the organization further and keep creating new ideas that I can do and will help me understand what I'm learning better and be able to put that into my career. And there's a lot of different things that I was just able to learn by taking initiative and being confident in it and just asking. So from this internship, I can take these experiences very much into the career in my future. First and foremost, I'll be able to have a stronger vocabulary in gendered issues. There was a lot of words that are more properly used and really show that you're knowledgeable in the subjects, as well as I'll be able to have these connections with Lydia and Jane and the other women at the Women's Resource Center and be able to call on them not only for career guidance, but as well as just wisdom in the field. From this experience, I'll also know what I'm looking for when going into jobs. I know the type of environment I want to be in. I know the type of people I want to work with. And I also will be able, within the interview process, be able to answer questions because of this job that I wouldn't have been able to answer before, such as gendered topics and programming events and collaborating with other organizations. So overall, it's an amazing experience that I'm extremely glad that I had, and I'll miss it a lot, but it definitely has given me a platform for going far into the future. Thanks.